as photographers, we try to make sure that every element in the photo adds to the scene and it doesn't distract from it. So in this practical edit, what we're going to do is we're going to go from clutter to minimal in just a few steps. All right, let me show you the process that we're going to follow. So we're going to start first, we're cropping for simplicity. Then we're going to remove any unwanted elements we don't want in the scene. We'll tie it all in and we'll simplify with light. And then we'll work on our tone for harmony. And then we're going to finish it off with something really cool, just to get that finishing balanced look. Now, these are the different steps that we're going to be going through. And let me start right now to show you. Here is a photo I took of my sister's garden when I was visiting in New York. That looks beautiful. But here's the original. Look at this. All right. So let's do a virtual copy first, just so we can do the before and after appearance. Now that I have it all set, I'm going to come over to edit. And for cropping, let's have AI help us with this. And look at it is so cluttered. Even AI is looking at this thinking, wow, there's way too much clutter in the scene. So let's bring it in. Now, I like this element here. I like the bird. I like the bee. Let me tie it in. Try to get rid of that background of the brick. But you know what? Right about here is still good. So now that we cropped it, yeah, I like this. I like how that's in the corner. All right. So there we are. So that's not bad. Now, I am designing with the end in mind. This came straight out of the camera, 2/3 ratio. So this could be a 8x12, or it could be a nice 16x24 print. So this would be a great dimension that I wanted to have for her. Now, when I'm looking at this right here, we cropped it, we got it set. Now let's remove some of the distracting elements. If I use traditional erase, it's going to use proximity. I want to get rid of this. Here's the problem with the old-fashioned erase. It's not going to give us the results that we want because it's using proximity. So instead, in a case like this, we're going to come over here to the generative erase. Now I'm going to come in and let's remove this piece right here. And I'll hit erase. Now at this point, what's so neat about generative erase, it uses AI to look at the entire scene. If it doesn't produce what I want, I'll just hit erase again until I get the results. Look at that. That did a very good job. You know what? Let's just do it one more time. Erase again. And you'll just keep repeating it until you feel it's exactly what you want. Let's see. All right, that looks good. Now I'm going to reset the selection. Now this image this area right here, let's see what it looks like without it. So I'm going to erase it. Now I can tell you right now, when I was going through this over and over again, I like that. Look at this. Before and after. Let's do before and after. Here it is. I like that element in the scene. So I'm choosing to keep it. So what we're going to do is we'll use this arrow key right here, and I'm going to bring it back. Now, once I'm set with what we have, I'll click save, and look what it does. It creates a new file for us right here, and it gives us a TIFF extension, but it puts it in the generative creations folder. Well, I don't want it there. So I'm going to move it back to the original folder. This way I have everything nice and tidy. All right. So here's the original. Right here was the one that we just worked on. And this is the TIFF. Look, it says Gen Erase TIFF. All right. So we came in, we cropped it, we removed the distracting elements. Now let's have fun bringing in some of that color. All right. We're going to come down here to color harmony. Now, color harmony is that one tool that a little goes a long way. Watch this. If you go to an extreme, it looks horrible. You just want just a little to get it to where it's adding, and check just to make sure you're not going overboard. Keep previewing it. Look how the yellow is popping. Let's do a little more brilliance. Again, right about there. Nice. And now, the rest of the sliders, there's a lot of stuff we can do, but honestly, I like hitting with those. If I come in, look at this, I can take the contrast up just a little bit, play with the hues, right about there. And again, this is strictly to your taste, but already it's looking great. So now we have the color set. If you need to, you can always come back here to color, and we've done this trick many a times, desaturate the entire image, all the colors, then just boost up the muted, the vibrancy of the muted colors. Just a little bit. Look, again, everything is inch by inch. So now that we have this set, it's looking great. It's still a little distracting, but I like those other elements because this next finishing touches is going to really make a huge difference. So let's come down here to a tool I'm sure most people wouldn't think of, and that's our blur tool, but we're going to do twisted. And watch with this. We're going to go a little crazy, and I am going to take the center dot. I want it right there. All right? Now, this looks a little strange. I'll go to an extreme just so we can see it. But what we're going to do is we're going to mask it. I'll use a radial mask, and I'm going to select just the flower, but I don't want the zoom or the blur to be on the flower. I'm going to invert it, and now it's going to affect everything but the bee and the flower. Let's tighten it up a little bit more. Right about here. All right. See the effect? Ooh, look at that. So that's an extreme, just so you can see what it's doing. Now what we're going to do is we're going to dial it back in a little bit. Right about there. Oh yeah, that looks good. And if you need to, you could show the mask. And if you think, well, you know what, some of these areas here, maybe the edges of the flower, I want some of those to be zoomed a little bit. So I could just lightly, at a very small strength, half the strength, just come around here. Maybe just add to it. Now let's hide the mask. Yeah, that looks good. All right, so let's see what it looks like so far. Nice. Look how that's adding to it. Now we have another step we're going to do. So I love how this is looking, but let's add a nice texture. Now, if I come over here to layers, if I click the plus icon, I can go to my folder. Now I have an assets folder. So in my photography, underscore assets, and then here is where I have all my textures. I can select one of these textures, open it up, and when I do, it'll appear here. Now, I already have one that I really like, and it's this one. Now, you have to decide how much of this do you want to add to make it look artistic, or just enough to where it's in the background. That's entirely up to you. I do like to start at 100%, just so I can see what I'm working with. Then, the layer blend modes. Typically, overlay and soft light are the two that really help. I like this. I like it like this. I'm going to dial it back just a bit. If I want to go for more of an artistic look, I'll leave it right about here. If I want to do with a minimalistic look, maybe right about here, we'll zoom in so you can see more. Yeah, right about there. So that's entirely up to you. I do want to go with an artistic look. I'm going to go a little bit deeper, but here's the thing. I like it like this all over the place on that bee. What I want to do is come in with a brush, erase, and I'm going to keep it at a lower strength. And I'm just going to paint away some of that texture here. There we go. Look at that. So now this all looks great. It's adding to the scene, and I can still bring some of this back. Let's see the difference. If I hide this layer, that's what it looks like. And this is what we created. So we went from an image like this, which actually, we went from an image like this. Oh, look at this. Again, so distracting, very cluttered. And then we cropped it, added artistic vision to it, and this is what we came up with. So give that a try, and keep in mind, when you photograph something, sometimes, like in this case here, I didn't have a macro lens. I had a zoom lens, and I was quite the distance away. I just saw it. I thought it was cute. I snapped a shot. Later, I realized, oh, I wish I had a macro lens, but I didn't. Here's how I could fix it using Luminar Neo. So if you're out there in the field and you see something really beautiful, as a photographer, try to get the best shot you can. If you can't, then use your artistic vision to bring it into focus. All right? Well, try this on your next shoot and see if you could take that clutter and simplify it and make it look sharp.